welcome to the 2026 UCI Snowbike World Championships from Châtel in France. Châtel, part of the Portes-du-Soleil region, well known for skiing and snowboarding during the winter months, today plays host to 55 mountain bikes, all hunting for top spot on the podium and the rainbow bands in the Super G and the Dual Slalom competitions. It's speed on the winter slopes, but of the two-wheel kind today. Well, Châtel in the Hawksboy, that Portes-du-Soleil region, the heart of the French-Swiss ski area, a real tourist town in both winter and summer. First hotel built here in the 1880s, and not just the inhabitants, but the tourists out in full day to watch these racers on the ski slopes here. The snow is down, the forecast has been good, the sun has been out this morning, and the conditions overnight really putting pay onto the slopes and making fast conditions. At 10 o'clock this morning, the Super G started, and that competition we're going to give you a little highlight of very shortly. At the moment, the sun has gone in, it's overcast, it's 5 p.m. in Châtel, and the floodlights, well, they will be streaming by the finals later on for the Dual Slalom when we crown our two new world champions. You can see the two dual slalom courses out side by side, two riders each run short explosive elimination rounds, one rider through, one rider out in the first 60. And we go through to the eights, where two runs come into play to determine the positions. It's the fastest rider across those two runs that will progress. The slowest rider, well, they are eliminated right the way through the quarterfinals, the semi-finals. The small final will determine third and fourth place, and the main big final first and second, and of course that World Championship title. Now, earlier on today, at 10 o'clock this morning, the Super G started with defending champion in the women's competition, Lisa Baumann from Switzerland. She came out of the start gate onto fresh snow. No lines on the snow for Baumann this morning. And well, it meant she had no lines to follow, but what a time she set out on those slopes this morning. She has had an absolutely fantastic season in 2025 on the downhill, and if the start of her 26th season anything to go by this morning, it is going to be a cracking downhill season for Lisa Baumann and a cracking time on the snow this morning. The first woman to ever go sub 2 minutes on this course in Châtel, and this is the third World Championships. She was the defending World Champion coming in this morning. And well, what a run she laid down. Vicky Clavel from France was the second rider out of the pen. Well, you can see the soft snow at the top of the course getting much quicker and much more frozen as they come to the bottom of the run. And her time not matching Baumann's, but still fast time for Vicky Clavel. In fact, the time she set of 2:05.58, quicker than the winning run in 2025. So a phenomenal turn of pace from Clavel, the French rider, on that second run today. Morgane Such from France came out of the pen third starter today, starting in a gridded order. She too had a great run. The jumps are bigger this year, the course is faster, and Morgane Such laid down a storming run of 2:08.87 for third place. And that is how the women's race finished. It went to form, the top three on the podium. The defending champion, well, she retained that gold medal. Lisa Baumann in one. Vicky Clavel takes the silver for France in two. And Morgane Such of France, she took the bronze. Well, the men's competition didn't disappoint either. First rider out of the pen, defending champion Vincent Toupin from France, laid down a storming time in the men's competition. the momentum the riders get out on course, the speed at which they're taking their turns, holding those bikes, holding those corners, maintaining that momentum, absolutely key, holding the nerves, and that split-second timing out on the Super G this morning really coming into play in this men's competition. And Tupan laying down the marker. Came across the line in a 1:43.36. Thinking that was enough. It was a quicker time than last year for that gold medal, but would it be enough this year? Only time would tell. Now, the champion from 2024, the very first Super G World Championships, was the third rider out of the pen in the men's Super G competition this morning. And boy, what a run Pierre Thevenard put through. The pace was so fast, just holding the jumps on the way down, coming through and fast into the final jump of the run. Thevenard couldn't quite hold the bike, the two wheels on the floor, but he kept holding the handlebars to come over the line with the bike. Those are the rules. Thevenard's 1:42.33 went into the... He might have come off of that bike on that final jump, but boy, he was happy with that run. Everything okay for Thevenard. And a big surprise in third place, Dylan Levesque from France came through on number 23 on grid today. What a run the Frenchman had to set a 1:45.46 and take away the bronze. So Pierre Thevenard took the gold today in the World Championship title in the Super G. Tupan from France took the silver, and Levesque of France took the bronze. In fact, the top 10 men went faster in the Super G this year than the bronze medal place in 2025. Just telling you and showing you how fast the snow is running this year. Well, the Super G this morning really did not disappoint. This evening, well, it's 5 o'clock in the evening in Châtel, and we are lining up for the Dual Slalom. Now, there are indeed rules, and one of the main rules is that the riders have to do both of the competitions on the same bike. So a full suspension bike with studded tyres, maximum studs on those tyres should they choose to have them. 6mm technical checks on that equipment yesterday, Friday, random technical checks on the equipment after the race finished today, making sure our commissaires keeping everything in form. The men's 16th finals runs heats on your screen at the moment. 32 riders from Super G qualifying in the men's competition to go through into the Dual Slalom this evening. The first heat we are going to see is indeed the winner of that Super G competition, Pierre Thevenard, against the rider placed in 32nd position, Amir Pekka of Turkey. Now, the runs through here. Number 1, matched with 32. Number 2, matched with 31. Number 3, matched with number 30, and so on through the 16th finals. One run will separate the riders here. Fastest rider through, slowest rider eliminated. The Dual Slalom is as straightforward as that. So under starters orders, the first heat of the men's Dual Slalom World Championships at this Snowbike World Championships here in Châtel. Well, it is nearly underway. So Pekka from Turkey in the blue run, Thevenard from France in red. Two different runs, but it's Thevenard who comes out of the pen first, really pushing down the momentum here as the French rider looks clear from the rider from Turkey. Then the Turkish rider now starting to come back. So Pekka picking up on the middle of the slope, but Thevenard's having it all his own way here. So Pierre Thevenard of France goes through in the first heat here. in Châtel on the dual slalom. So Thevenard going through 1.85 of a second clear of Pekka of Turkey. The next heat we have Henry Kerr in the blue run. We have the Irish rider lining up, you can see there. On the red run, Kadir Ibis of Turkey. 2 Turkish riders qualifying through for the dual slalom, and it is indeed the Turkish rider on the red run who gets a better start than Henry Kerr out of the pen. But whoa, holding that back wheel, foot out from the Turkish rider. The momentum now allows Kerr to come through. Kerr now comes into top spot here. He's running through the blue side of the run here. It's Kerr from Ireland, then Ibis from Turkey. Kerr from Ireland goes through. He will progress to the next round. Nice run from the Turkish rider, but not to be today. So quickly back up into the start pen, heat number 3. We have Leo Grissel from France. Grisel, the French rider, on the red run. Florian Reimer-May on the blue run from Switzerland. So the Swiss rider just coming into the start. You can see the holding area behind, giving a lot of spectators to that start area. The riders waiting for their heats. Commissaires holding the riders on those dual starts. The lights go green, and out comes Grisel of France through the red run first, picking up an early lead here. Reimer-May of Switzerland, the rider on the blue run, just down on time at the moment. But Grissel needing to hold this on this red line. But the French rider absolutely dominant here on the red line. He's going to go through as he crosses the line ahead of Reimer-May of Switzerland. The Swiss rider just hitting the deck as he slows down there in the soft powder snow. In fact, you can see how soft that snow is as the 2 riders just congratulate each other. So Grisel of France progressing to the 8th final. We line up now with the Belgian rider, Kilian van Roosel. He is on the red run. Nico Schleb of Germany on the blue. So Van Roosel comes out of the pen, and this is a much closer start. But Van Roosel, the Belgian rider, is up at the moment, but very, very quickly. The German rider, Nico Schlebs, comes through here. You can see the riders very, very close. This is currently Van Roosel's on the red run, but this is a seriously close match. What can happen here? It goes to Van Roosel, 0.5 of a second. The Belgian rider will progress to the 8th final. Well, the 2 riders make their way out of the runs. Well, you can just see how fast those 2 riders come over the line on the finish line camera. Back up at the top, the next heat already waiting starters' orders. Ian Giodet of France will be on the red run. Jules Lefay of Switzerland not starting. So you can see the lights go green. Ian Giodet of France needs to complete the run to progress, which means he's got to hold the bike upright and get it over that finish line. You can see from the aerial shot, the French rider progressing through on that red run. He's going to clear that finish line and progress to the next round. Just taking a look there, Jules Lefay did not start. So Giodet going through to the next round. So heat number 6 lining up in the start pen already. Miles Weber of Switzerland versus Hugo Anser of France. 12 French riders qualified this morning for the dual slalom this evening. It was absolute dominance from the French riders up on the slopes earlier on this morning. But Weber looking like he's got a great start. The Swiss rider on the red run getting a fabulous start out of the pen. Anser from France now coming back, and you can see the riders. The Swiss rider picking it up. It's Anser's got problems. Doesn't make the gate. He's down and sliding. It's going to go to Weber here. The Swiss rider on the red run is going to take this. Weber progresses to the next round. Anser of France not keeping those wheels upright. The skiers just coming in to check everything is okay. And I'm sure Hugo Anser will be down at the bottom of the run very shortly. There he is. Everything absolutely fine. Snow is one soft landing, but you do slide a long way. Well, Maciej Solowski, the rider from Czechia, on the blue run, ready in that start. He's going up against Theo Mathieu of France on the red run. So Mathieu of France up at that first start, but sliding out already. The powder off the back of the wheel really kicking up here and making those turns crucial. Now the rider on the red run in trouble here. Mathieu, big, oh, look at this, the swing, he's back in his rhythm. Oh, no trouble there correcting the bike and coming back through. Mathieu from France goes through. Silvesky from Czechia going out. At one point there he was up, but very, very quickly Theo Mathieu of France brought back into contention and qualifies for the next round. Well, heat number 8 here in the men's dual slalom sees Cédric Gracia of France go up against Leo Simone of Italy. Gracia on the red run with the 4-plate, the rider we are looking at the moment. Simone, Leo on the blue run. There we go. Shot of the Italian rider. We're waiting for those lights to go red to put the riders under starters orders. When they go green, the boards drop and away go our riders onto the dual slalom. Lights go green. Gracia gets a great start out of the pen. Is the first rider up onto the flags. Gracia leading out at the moment. Leo from Italy is around half a gate back, but starting to make up some time here. Gracia really starting to dig in. He's had some fabulous races on snow. Finished 9th last year on the dual slalom. Gracia will progress, the rider from France. Leo from Italy will be eliminated. So Cédric Gracia a little bit earlier, finishing 4th overall in the Super G this morning. Really strong run from him, but he's just missed the podium this year. The dual slalom, another opportunity to attempt to make that podium today. Now, heat number 9, we've got another rider not starting. So Dylan Levesque of France, the rider who took 3rd place this morning, will run a solo run. Marius Peredin of Switzerland not taking to the start in the dual slalom. So Dylan Levesque, the rider who took away the bronze medal this morning, gridded 23rd out of 44 riders in that Super G and put in that phenomenal performance. It really was a fabulous, fabulous race from the rider. Did compete back in 2024 in the Super G, where he took 4th place. Didn't compete in the Snowbike World Championships in 2025, but he's back with a bang for 2026. Well, Heat 10 are making their way into those start pens. We've got Andreas Kolb from Switzerland on the red run. Giorgio Palla of Italy on the blue. Well, it looks like we are just waiting one of the riders in the start area. Riders needing to take the chairlift up to the top of the run. The dual slalom just over 500 metres in length. And you can see the holding area behind. The lights have gone red. They're under starters orders. Kulp from Switzerland versus Pala of Hungary. And it's Kulp on the red run. But these riders very, very close together on these early gates. In fact, the Hungarian rider Pala is indeed up at the moment on the blue line. So the blue line having a great run here. Pala from Hungary pushing on and taking Kulp here. Kulp now starting to come back. The Swiss rider pushing towards the finish line. But no, it's going to be Pala from Hungary who progresses through to the next round. Andreas Kulp will be eliminated and not progress. So the early rounds here in the men's competition well and truly underway in the dual slalom. A number of runs will be required on this slope to make those finals. In fact, 9 runs in total out there on this dual slalom for the men who make the small and big finals today to battle for those medals. Well, heat number 11, the rider from Great Britain, Josh Turner, will take the blue run. Julian Steiner will be his competition, the rider from Germany. So it's Turner on blue versus Steiner on red, and Steiner's looking like he's got the early lead here out of the start, but it's neck and neck. Turner versus Steiner, they are turning here now. Turner starts to come forward, Steiner comes back. Steiner now slightly in the lead here as they push towards the finish line. What can Turner do? 1 through, 1 out. Steiner goes through. Turner will go out. 0.27 of a second separating those two riders on that run. That was close. Either of those two riders could have made it, but it was Julian Steiner from Germany who qualifies. Now, heat number 12, we have 2 Swiss riders going up against each other. Noé Forlin, the young rider from Switzerland, just 18 years old, took 6th place this morning in the Super G. Phenomenal young rider, and took 2nd in the Junior Enduro World Championships in 2025, up against Hoe Schleidegger from Switzerland. So the 2 Swiss compatriots here side by side on the run. Forlin on the red run, up at the moment, but whoa, he has missed the gate. Oh, so the young Swiss rider now in all sorts of trouble here, and continuing to work his way through the gates, but Schleidegger not finishing either. Now, that is going to be an interesting run because Forlin messed up one of the gates there, but Schleidegger looking as though he didn't finish either. So we've got 2 DNFs not going through the gates, reasons for not finishing. Both riders not progressing from that round. Big shock to the dual slalom. The young rider from Switzerland not progressing and DNFing on the course, missing the gate halfway down. The rider on the blue run also not finishing in heat 12. Now that is going to be an interesting one-on-one for our commissaires to take a look at. So we are going to wait and see what happens there. I'll bring you all up to date with that as soon as we have it. But in the pens at the moment, at the start, Jack Piercy from Great Britain on the blue run is going to go up against Jonathan Murray of Switzerland on the red run. So Piercy on blue, Murray on red. It's Great Britain versus Switzerland here at the World Championships, and the first start is looking like it's going to be Moray of Switzerland up on the red, but very, very quickly Piercy's come back. Piercy now starts to move into the first position here, but this is seriously close between Moray and Piercy as they continue to make sure they clear the gates, but Piercy, I think, is going to take that 0.26 of a second. So Piercy will qualify, Moray will go out, overturning the results of the Super G this morning, where Moray finished in 7th place. Piercy took 26th in the Super G, but he knocks out Moray in the first round of the Dual Slalom. Back up at the start at the moment, Kevin Mayeur took 10th place this morning. The French rider on the red run is going up against compatriot Jules Areau, who took 23rd place this morning. And it's the rider on the red, Mayeur, who is up at the moment, but then very, very quickly, Areau comes through to take the lead as they're on the midsection of the course. What can Mayeur do? Can he bring this back? It's looking seriously close at the moment as they come through the final gates, but it's going to go to Areau. At 0.24 of a second, Mayeur, who may have taken 10th this morning, he too will not progress this evening through to the next round. Jules Areau will indeed qualify. Well, 2 more runs to go here on the first round of the men's Dual Slalom World Championships at the 2026 UCI Snowbike World Championships from Châtel. We've got 2 more runs left in this first set of heats. Thomas de Littler will go on the red run. French rider against Leo Godin, his compatriot on blue. De Littler, Godin, this is seriously close. Leo Godin on the blue run, now out in front. Clear daylight between him and Thomas de Littler. De Littler on the red run, not closing this down at the moment, and it's going to be Godin who goes through. That's a significant gap to Thomas de Littler at 1.68 seconds. Clear run from Godin to qualify, celebrating with a slide on the snow. Well, the final heat now in the start pen of this 16th round in the men's competition. Vincent Tupin of France on the red run will go up against Tobias Schafferhans of Germany on blue. Well, Tupin took the bronze medal in the dual slalom last year. Can he progress out of the first round this year? That's what we're about to find out, and he is up already at the moment. Tupin on the red run, looking absolutely dominant here, clearing through the gates. He's leaving Schafferhans for dead here, right back on that blue run as Tupin comes through. Absolutely class run from Vincent Tupin of France to progress to the next round. Well, the German rider congratulating Tupin. He took bronze in the dual slalom last year, did Tupin of France. He's going to be after a stronger performance today after taking silver in the Super G this year. Well, you can see there the riders progressing from that first set of heats. And we can indeed confirm that Noé Forlan, the young Swiss rider, whilst having the issue with the gates, did indeed clear them all, whereas the other rider he was up against didn't actually finish the set of gates. So Forlan will indeed progress to the next round. Well, the eighth final for the men's will look like this. We'll see Thevenard go up against Kerr, Van Russell go up against Greisel, Châtel go up against Weber, Gracia go up against... so quick, he never got it. We'll see Gracia go up against Matteo, Levesque against Palla, Fall-In against Steiner, Aru against Piercy, Tupin against Godin. They are very quickly making their way back up towards the start pen because the next set of heats, the men's eighth finals, 2 runs from now on. So the 16th finals, 1 run deciding the competition. But from now onwards, the 8ths through the quarters, the semis and the finals, it's the combined time across 2 heats. Fastest combined time will progress. So the riders able to overturn a deficit, particularly some of those small deficits that we saw could well be overturned, and upsets made here in Châtel. You can see the crowds down, starting to gather now on the Saturday evening, watching the competition. So the 8th final will be the next race up for the men. The women's competition, they will start with the 8th final and the quarterfinals coming through. In fact, the women will start with the quarterfinals because 8 women qualifying from the Super G this morning. You can see the video footage on the camera on the helmet of our riders, and you can catch that video footage on some of their channels. There's some great footage coming out from the Snowbike Championships and the broadcast as well, really showing you what it's like from the riders' view too. Now, riders being called up to the start here for the men's 8th finals. So Pierre Thevenard on the red run, Henry Kerr on the blue. First heat, at the moment it's Thevenard up on the red, but Kerr coming back to him very, very quickly. Oh, Kerr's got trouble. He's got a foot down, but he's very quickly picked that up. He's not far off the back of Thevenard at the moment. Kerr comes through. It's 0.5 of a second separating them on run number 1. They will switch runs for run number 2. So Thevenard will move from the red to the blue. Kerr will move from the blue to the red, making it as fair as possible. You can see there Thevenard coming through ahead of Kerr. As we very quickly go to the first run between Kilian Van Russell, the rider from Belgium, and Leo Griesel, the rider from France. Very well matched in the Super G this morning. Van Russell taking 8th, Leo Griesel taking 9th. Now, Leo Griesel won the Dual Slalom last year. He is defending champion from France in this discipline. Not having a great time this morning on the Super G competition, but this was the specialised discipline that saw him take that rainbow jersey last year, and at the moment Van Russell is down and through the gate. Leo Griesel picking up the pace and just making sure he finishes and clears that. Now, what will happen here is Van Russell will be penalised the 0.5 of a second, and that's the differential he will start a second run with. The biggest time gap that you can have at the top of the second run is that half a second. It's a big gap to overturn, and you can see Griesel just taking a good look at what's happened with Van Russell there on that red run. So that is indeed the thing that happens. It's fast, it's furious, it's about skill, momentum and judgment, holding your nerve and split-second timing. 2-up racing here on the Dual Slalom. We've got the next heat up, Gionnet from France against Weber from Switzerland. Weber is on the blue run at the moment, and this is really close between the two riders. Gionet of France on the red, slightly up at the moment, but this is going to be really close. What can Gionet do from Weber? Weber just 0.17 of a second back. Gionet takes the win there on the first run. This is going to be a close battle between these two riders to see who progresses after run number 2. Well, that was a close match between those two riders, that 0.17 of a second. It's going to be an interesting second run. We have 2 French riders in the next heat. Cedric Gracia is going to be on the red run. Theo Matteo on the blue. So Gracia comes out ahead of Matteo at the moment, but Matteo now starting to pick up pace on the blue run. This really is starting to get close, but Gracia looks like he's having a cleaner run. He is indeed. He's up at the moment on Matteo here. Gracia takes the first run between the two riders from France. Here, Matteo 0.5 of a second back. Well, as the riders leave the area, back up in the start area, it's Dylan Levesque from France, the rider who took the bronze medal this morning in the Super G, going up against Giorgio Palla of Hungary. Palla took 19th in that Super G competition this morning. Levesque on the red run, Palla on the blue. The lights go green, and Levesque gets a really fast start out of that pen. Oh, he's flying at the moment on the red run. He really is motoring. What can Palla do? Can he close down the gap? He is indeed, because Levesque is holding this, but Palla has closed down the gap. What can Palla do on the final steps? He's made a big mistake there, slowed him right down. Levesque comes through and takes the win in heat number 1 on this first run between the two riders. Palla, that mistake really cost the Hungarian rider. Well, Noé Forlan, the Swiss rider, will go on the red run. Julian Steiner, the rider from Germany, will go on the blue. So this should be a close battle between these two riders. Forlan 6th this morning on the Super G, Steiner 11th. Very close racing, but it's Forlan who comes out of the pen. Up on Steiner at the moment, but Steiner now gets the momentum flowing. He gets the bike rolling on the blue run and now comes through at the midsection of the course to come past Forlan and absolutely nailing Julian Steiner now ahead and clear of Noé Forlan of Brisbane. Steiner goes through. Forlan 0.5 of a second back. He's got a big gap to overturn on run number 2. But, well, we'll see what the young Swiss rider can do. Back up in the start area, the riders look of concentration on their face before they take that starting position, being called into the gate. Jules Roux of France will go on the red run up against Jack Piercy of Great Britain on blue. Strong start from both riders, but Roux is the rider up at the moment on the red. Piercy now coming through on the blue. Roux's foot is out. He's got all sorts of problems at the moment. Piercy's got to hold this and hold this cleanly now to the finish because Roux has got problems on the red run. He's not up. He's not going to finish. Piercy has come through to complete the run. Jules Roux, everything is fine up there. He just didn't complete the run. He missed the gate. It is slippy, it is slidey, it is slushy. And you've got to clear the gates to qualify. So the final heat of this round is the first run between Vincent Tupin of France and his compatriot Leo Godin. Tupin will be on the red run and gets out very, very quickly. He's up already out of the start. Godin on the blue run is down, but how quickly can he close this down? Tupin had a very, very fast start. He might be defending champion in terms of the Super G when he came in earlier on today, but he didn't defend that title. He took silver, but he is rolling really fast on the dual slalom and absolutely adamant he wants to go away with the gold medal today. Maybe it's the dual slalom for Vincent Tupin tonight. So the first run of the men's 8th finals results on your screen at the moment. The riders will go back up to the start. They will complete their second run. The time gap that you see on your screen at the moment will be credited to the riders at the start of the run. They will need to overturn it to progress because it is the combined time, the fastest combined time that progresses across these two heats. Well, the sun was out in Châtel this morning on the higher up ski slopes. You can just see to the right of the course one of the jumps on that course. Earlier on, we're on the lower slopes here. The start list is up on your screen for run number 2, and we can see the riders getting ready with the commissaires up at those start huts. Pine trees giving this region a very distinctive smell out there as well. The freshness of the snow, the scent of the pine can only be winter sport. Oh, you can see the challenge there and the fact that on snow you just don't stop sliding. Did indeed mean that Vincent Tupin went through, and some very, very close racing as well. The thrills and spills of dual slalom, anything can happen. It absolutely can. Likewise at World Championships, everything run on one day. It's all about what you can lay down on the day. Well, the riders starting to come to the pens for run number 2 in the 8th finals of the men's 2026 UCI Snowbike World Championships. This is the elite dual slalom, and the riders have got back up to the start. And trying to stay warm out there. Well, the first heat up is going to be the second run between Pierre Thevenard of France and Henry Kerr of Ireland. Thevenard took that gold medal this morning in the Super G. In fact, he took the win in 2024 in the dual slalom. He was second in the dual slalom last year, so hasn't been off of the podium and made the major final, big final, twice now. These World Championships, we are in the 3rd year of the Snowbike World Championships. All 3 events now having been run in Châtel. These riders who have been here to compete at these championships for all 3 years now, very much dialing these courses. Well, the riders at the start just waiting the agreement from the commissaire. The race referees here in cycling. For the start, riders, look at that, all dressed up and warm in the duvet jackets over the top of the national kit. quite a few discussions going on down there about, about the dual slalom. But it's interesting, the crowd's now really starting to come out, and while skiing and snowboarding may well be the winter dominance of this region, 83 kilometres of ski slopes in Châtel, 21 ski lifts, 5 ski schools, mountain biking really big as well in the summer. The Châtel Bike Park, a lot of downhill and free ride trails. So a region really making the most of summer and winter sport, whether you're into hiking, mountain biking, skiing, snowboarding, trail running. It is indeed a region that has something to offer all year round. Just taking a look through here, we talked about Thevenard and his performances. In fact, Pierre Thevenard, two silver medals, 2 gold medals over the last 2 years. He really is one of the riders to watch today. A local rider as well. Thevenard known a little bit as the speed demon, setting one of the fastest times on a mountain bike on snow, 165.9 kilometres an hour. Not during the World Championships, but we have seen speeds in excess of 100 kilometres an hour on the Super G. They won't reach those types of speeds on this dual slalom at 500 metres, but do expect them to top 50, 55, 60 kilometres an hour as they come over the line. As we see Thevenard versus Kerr come out of the pen on run number 2, and Thevenard very quickly up and through and into the lead. Kerr under pressure now. Kerr under pressure and starting to make mistakes as Thevenard has to hold this. He has to hold this, but now Kerr coming back. Kerr's got a massive turn of speed at the end of this run. That was so close. In fact, Kerr takes that run by 0.01 of a second from Thevenard, but it is not going to be enough to overturn the half a second off of the first run. What a race from Henry Kerr, though, to come back at Pierre Thevenard for the end of that run. What a race between those two, but it will be, wow. Thevenard who will progress. Well, Van Roussel, the Belgian rider, back on the start. He didn't finish the run last time round, so will take the penalty against Leo Griesel of France. Griesel on the red run, Van Roussel on the blue. Well, the racing seems to be hotting up now. This is getting down to the gritty end. This is about qualification and who goes through to the quarterfinals, and it is about to go down to the wire if the match between Thevenard and Kerr is anything to go by. Van Roussel, the Belgian rider, up against Griesel, the French rider. It's a 0.5 deficit to Van Roussel. That's a big ask. Griesel of France on the red run needs to hold this together to qualify. Griesel gets the better start out of the pen. The lights went green and Griesel pushed on. Van Roussel almost sat in that pen, but now really starting to make up pace on the course as Griesel now backside of that wheel, sliding out on those gates. He's got to hold this together to get it over the line, and boy, he does. But Van Roussel wins the match this time by 0.23 of a second. What a move there. It's not going to overturn. But, wow. So the next run, it is Gionet from France versus Weber of Switzerland. Weber on the red run, Gionet on the blue, and the blue run is up, and it's Weber who's down. Miles Weber goes down on the gate. Gionet will qualify as he continues to push here and comes over the line in 1. So the next run in the start, Cédric Gracier of France is going up against Theo Matthieu of France. The two compatriots, it was Gracier who took the win in run number 1. It's going to be a half a second hold from Matthieu at the start. Can he overturn it? Well, the lights go green on Gracier's pen. He comes out of the pen on the blue run. He is up, but Matthieu now starts to motor. But the motoring, the push from Matthieu, he drops to the bike. He moves away. Cédric Gracier is going to qualify here. He's got to close this down. He's got to come across the line, but he's holding the line to the finish. Gracier from France will progress to the next round. Just the momentum and the turn through the gate, just overcooking it there. Matthieu not progressing on that red run. Gracier taking the qualification. Well, the next run up, it's going to be Dylan Levesque from France versus Giorgio Palla from Hungary. It went Levesque's way on the first run. Palla will be held in that pen for half a second. So Levesque of France, the lights are going to go green, and you can see the differential here. Levesque comes out on the blue run. Levesque is up at the moment. Palla's got some work to do. He's got to overturn that half a second gap. Levesque starting to move through on the red run, but, well, the rider from Hungary is doing a great job, but it is still with the Frenchman as Dylan Levesque comes over the line to take the win and the qualification place. He will progress to the next round. Palla from Hungary will not. Well, the next heat that is up and ready to go. We have Noé Forlán from Switzerland on the blue run. He'll be held for half a second. Julian Steiner will get the advantage at the start here, the German rider on the red. Riders under starters orders. They are ready. You can see the differential on the start gun, and away goes the board. And Steiner gets the earlier start on the red run and is clear at the moment of Forlán. Forlán, the Swiss rider, foot out already, and he's already caught up to Steiner. Steiner versus Forlán, the two riders pushing side by side, neck and neck here. The German rider now up on the red run. He's going to come through and take this from Forlán. Steiner progresses and qualifies and moves forward to the next round. Noé Forlán, the young rider from Switzerland, will be eliminated. Well, the racing is coming thick and fast at the moment, and we're moving into the next heat, the second run against Jack Piercy of Great Britain. He'll be on the red run this time round. Jules Aroux of France on the blue. Piercy comes out of the pen first. He's got a half a second advantage from that first run. Piercy's got to hold this together. What can the French rider Aroux do? He's closing Piercy down here as they come to the midsection of the course, but Piercy just eking out the lead. The French rider needing to hold this. Aroux on blue now back. Piercy's going to take it. Piercy will progress from that run. Aroux will be eliminated and he won't make the quarterfinals. Well, we're heading towards the final run now of this eighth final for the men's elite dual slalom. We have Vincent Toupin of France against Leo Godin. Godin will go on the red run. He will have a 0.44 second deficit on the start. Toupin is going to come out first. Oh, and Toupin gets a cleaner start as well, but Godin is pushing and pushing already. Toupin is clearly in the lead, and I was about to say because Godin has gone really strong into this and is holding it together, but he's back on Toupin. Toupin is going to take this. Godin from France is going to be eliminated. He just overcooked it at the top of that course, didn't quite hold that bike in a line. Well, and that is what has let Toupin go through. Well, he made the gates, but he made it sideways. Godin not progressing through to the quarterfinals. Vincent Toupin taking that spot. Well, you can see the results of the eighth finals. Henry Kerr knocking out Pierre Thevenard, right the way down to Vincent Toupin, who we've just seen progress against Leo Godin of France. Men's quarterfinals will be contested from 2 runs as well. The women, though, starting their competition with the quarterfinals. 8 women qualifying from the Super G this morning to the Women's Elite Dual Slalom for the 2026 UCI Snowbike World Championships. Morgane Such, who took 3rd place this morning, took away the first Dual Slalom title in 2024. Lisa Baumann took away the title in 2025. She's defending champion coming into this competition as well. And after that performance this morning from Baumann in the Super G, can anybody stop her? Well, Lisa Baumann goes in heat 1 up against the rider from the USA, Abigail Hugi. She had an interesting run this morning, finishing 8th in the Super G, but the mud, or shall we say spike guard, broke on the back of her bike during her run halfway through, and you could hear the rubbing on the rear wheel, slowing her down. So potentially she's on better form than an 8th in the Super G, but she's got to hold it together. The bike needs to stay together. She needs to stay together. And well, she's up against Baumann. The lights go green. Baumann gets a great start here. Hugi from the USA is on the blue line. Baumann on the red. It's a big run here. This is the first run of 2, and it's Baumann up at the moment from Hugi, but Hugi's keeping it close, but she's down on that move. She doesn't make the gate. She's down, but Baumann's got to keep this rubber side down on the snow to cross the line and come through. She does. Abigail Hugi, the rider from the USA, doesn't complete that first run. She doesn't clear that gate, and take a look at that sideways around the gate and then just overcooks it going into the next. The powder on the snow kicking up from the wheels. Baumann takes the win on run 1. It'll be a half-second penalty for Hugi on run 2. Well, heat number 2 in the women's competition is going to see Chloé Crez-Camont of France on the red, Elke Rabda of Austria on the blue. Well, Rabda of Austria took 10th in the dual slalom last year, but at the moment it's the rider on the red course at the moment, Chloé Crez-Camont from France, who is clear and up. A little tricky bit on the on the flags there for Crez-Camont, but now she's still back into her rhythm. Rabda is the rider pushing on blue at the moment. This is going to be really close on the line. It is so close on the line, and Elke Rabda coming through on the second half of that course to literally pip, and I mean pip, Crez-Camont on that run. 0.01 of a second. The rider from Austria, well, she's got a tiny advantage against the rider from France going through next time. Hey, how close was that run? Well, up in the start pen at the moment, Morgane Such from France is lining up on the red run. Elsa Porter of France is lining up on the blue. Porter took 6th place this morning in the Super G against that 3rd place Super G bronze medal from Morgane Such. Such on that red run, just up at the moment as they come through the gates here. Much more of a hesitant run there from Porter on that blue run. Such really doing a great job and picking up some pace at the latter part of that course. Morgane Such going through with a strong run there against Elise Porter. Well, Porter will have a half-second disadvantage when she comes into that second run against Morgane Such. Such putting in a really strong performance there. She finished 3rd in the dual slalom last year, 2nd in the dual slalom in 2024. She's not been off the podium in the 2 previous editions of this World Championships, and she's looking in fabulous form on that dual slalom first run. Well, the next heat up is Vicky Clavel, the rider who took the silver medal this morning from Mathilde Bernard of France. Bernard on the blue run, Clavel on the red, and at the moment Clavel slightly with the advantage, but this is a really close run here between these 2 riders from France. Bernard pushing on strongly here on the blue, just clipping the gate with the foot. Clavel on the red, she's going to start making up some time on the lower part of this slope, so she does indeed. Clavel comes through, Bernard strong at the start, just backing off and getting into a little bit of a trouble on the lower slopes. She is going to go through to the second run without half-second disadvantage. Well, the women's first run in that quarter-finals gave us some real thrills and spills already in the competition, and it is going to be great to watch. We saw the men trying to keep it rubber side down on the snow. Very soft landing. We saw some really close competitions in the women's competition as well, and as well as some of those rear wheels sliding out. Men progressing to those quarter-finals. Results from run number 1 for those women's elite dual slalom quarterfinals on your screen at the moment. So Baumann with the advantage on heat 1, Rademacher, the Austrian rider, on heat 2. We have the advantage going to Morgane Such on heat 3 and Vicky Clavel on heat 4. We're going to switch to the men's quarterfinals, and you can see how it all pans out in terms of the heats we are going to see. Well, the men's quarterfinals livening up now for the dual slalom. The first run, we've got the Belgian rider Van Roussel on red for the first run of the quarterfinals in the men. He's going up against Henry Kerr. Kerr, who took out Thevenard by that 0.01 of a second on the 8th finals. So Henry Kerr really loving this course today. The rider from Ireland putting in a strong performance to knock out Thevenard, the winner, who the Super G earlier on today. So the riders needing to work their way back up to the top of the dual slalom slopes. Once they have completed their run, you can just see the riders being called into the start area. So Van Roosel versus Kerr is going to be the first quarter-final run in the men's competition. We're then going to see Gracia versus Gionnet. The third run will be Levesque versus Steiner, then Tupan versus Piercy. We are down to the final 8 men. We started with 44 men in the Super G competition this morning, 32 qualified for the dual slalom. Of those 32 riders, we are now down to the final 8. It's been thrills and spills out there for them to qualify. In fact, Van Roosel has already hit the deck today, but has indeed, by 0.01 of a second, overturned the troubles on run number 1 to progress on run number 2. We're going to see him up and out on course shortly. Just watching the replays from earlier on in the earlier rounds whilst we wait for the riders to get settled up at the start. The Belgian rider you can see now in shot on the red run for run number 1. Kilian Van Roosel progressing through. He's going to go up against Henry Kerr. Kerr put in some strong performance in the last round as well. So these two riders on good form tonight. We can see the studs on the tyres. Van Roosel gets a great start out on that red run. He's slightly up at the moment from Kerr. Kerr's got some work to do here, but Van Roosel on the red run still pressing. Kerr bringing it back now on this mid-stage of course. As he overcooked it, he's overtaken Van Roosel. Roosel's got to hold this together. This is neck and neck as Kerr and Van Roosel go to the line. Van Roosel comes over the line ahead of Kerr. They switched positions multi-times during that run. Wow, what a move, but it goes to Van Roosel on run number 1. Well, the second heat waiting in the pair of men's quarterfinals. Cedric Gracia, who's going to take the red run this time. Ian Gionnet will take the blue. The two riders from France so close in this morning's Super G competition. This could be so close. Who holds the nerve? Gracia on red. Looking like he's got a small advantage, but Gionnet really coming through fast now. Gionnet on the blue now, slightly up ahead of Gracia. Oh, but Gionnet makes a massive mistake. Gracia continues to push on the red run. He's got a nice clean run now ahead of him right the way through to the line. Gionnet made a huge mistake there part way through the course. He was up on Gracia at the time, but Ian Gionnet, well, Cedric Gracia takes the win on that first run. Just take a look at this. He made a mess of the gate, couldn't correct it, got it completely wrong over the top of the handlebars. Long slide in the snow for Ian Gionnet. Gracia taking the first run. Well, Dylan Levesque of France will be on the red line for the first run. In the match against Julian Steiner from Germany, the German rider will be on the blue line for run number 1. Well, as they ready themselves in the start area. Going under starters orders. Waiting for the lights to go green. Levesque coming out of the start strongly there and quickly up on Steiner at the moment. Levesque on that red run, just up, but Steiner now starting to come through. He came through strong on the latter part of the run last time. What can Levesque do? Can he stay clear on the red run, the blue run of Steiner? Steiner motoring as he comes through, but it just goes to Levesque of France. 0.11 of a second. Steiner came back after Levesque's strong start, but he couldn't quite close it down. Oh, the two riders driving towards the finish line. Big push on that bike. Throwing those bikes across the line. 0.11 of a second separating them on run number 1. Well, the next run, it is Vincent Toupin of France on the red run. Jack Piercy of Great Britain on blue. Toupin gets a quick start out of the hut and he's straight up and on Piercy at the moment. What can the rider from Great Britain do? He's closing it down. He's got a great line through the gates at the moment. Toupin now starts to pick it up again after a small mistake. Toupin is up now on Piercy. Piercy's trying to push, but he's just throwing the bike out at the moment. Piercy down on Toupin. Toupin just held that together. They both made mistakes on that run, but Toupin of France takes run number 1. Well, the first run of the men's quarter-finals. The results up on your screen. Van Roosel taking it from Kerr, Gracia taking it from Giaudet, Levesque taking it from Steiner, and Toupin taking it from Piercy. They will all go back into the start pen for run number 2. The riders in deficit will have that hold on the start, and it's the rider over the line in 1 who will take the win. We are now going to go back into the start pen with the women's quarter-finals. This is run number 2 in the women. The first rider over the line will progress to the semi-finals. We have Lisa Baumann on the blue run, Abigail Hoge on red. These two riders are going to go neck and neck. Hoge's going to be held for half a second longer than Baumann. Baumann's going to get a really fast start here. Baumann is defending champion coming into the Dual Slalom for 2026. In fact, she's never been beaten. 2 gold medals in this discipline. Can Abigail Hoge from the USA hold her nerve? Baumann gets a clean start. Hoge comes swiftly out on her start, but it's Baumann who is up early on the start of this. Can Hoge close this down? Baumann's on the blue run, and you can see the differential between her and Hoge on the red run. Hoge's holding this together, but Baumann's putting in a strong performance here, and she's going to come through and across the line in 1. I don't think there's anything Hoge can do about this. No, there isn't. Baumann comes over, but Hoge, she finishes a strong ride. Lisa Baumann will qualify for the semi-finals. Well, the friendly congratulations, well done, pats on the back at the bottom of the slope. They were competitors till the bottom. Now they are congratulating each other, and Hoge congratulating Baumann as Baumann progresses to those semi-finals. These two women now at the top here, and this is the tiniest gap in the world. The Austrian rider Rabda on red, the French rider Tres Clément en bleu. 0.01 of a second separated their first run. They switched the lead many times over, and at the moment it's the rider en blue, Tres Clément of France, who is up on Raptor from Austria on red, but she has not gone anywhere. The rider pushing on from Austria, really close. Tres Clément from France on blue. This is a run to the line here, and it's about who can get over that line in one. Whoa, they've done it again. Raptor takes the win, 0.01 of a second. Chloe Tres Clément, how can that happen? 0.01 of a second on run one, 0.01 of a second on run two. The Austrian riders' final 20 metres on this course. She's superb. Raptor progressing from that round to the semi-finals. The next heat, Morgane Such, the rider from France, who took run number one, is on the blue line. Elise Porter from France, she's on red. 0.5 of a second separated these two riders at the start. Such on the blue run, looking like she's just up at the moment on Porter on red. Porter now having trouble on these corners of this midsection. She's down at the moment. Such on the blue line needs to keep the wheels on the floor and get over that line. The snow is softer here today. Morgane Such goes over the line in one. She will progress to the semi-finals. Elise Porter not able to hold the run together on that red run. Let's just take a look. The issue is the problems just stack up further back on the gates. One small issue further up the course becomes a big issue later on down the course. Now, Vicky Clavel will be on the blue run this time round. Mathilde Bernard of France will be on the red run. She will be leaving the start half a second behind Clavel. Clavel on some fabulous form today. Well, I say that, Bernard, I think, got the better of the two starts there, and Bernard on the red may have had a longer hold in the start, but she's up very quickly. Clavel now starting to get into her tracks, but these riders really close. Now Bernard makes a mistake, and that mistake is going to let Clavel through. Vicky Clavel now starting to motor, would clear of Bernard because of the mistake from Bernard on the red run. Clavel pushes on blue. She's going to go through to the semi-finals. Bernard had a phenomenal start out of the pen, but just couldn't hold it together. Clavel will progress. Bernard will be eliminated. Just checking everything's all right with the equipment. I'm not sure it is. But what can you do? Got to put it down over the 500 metres on the run, and you can see the riders progressing to the semi-finals. It's going to be Lisa Baumann from Switzerland, Elke Raptor from Austria, Morgane Such from France, and Vicky Clavel from France, going through to those semi-finals where they will battle it out for the 3 medals and, of course, that rainbow jersey. Well, in the men's competition, we have up next run number 2 of the quarter-finals. The first 2 riders coming out of the pen will be Kilian van Roosel from Belgium up against Henry Kerr of Ireland. Kerr on a 0.26 hold out of the pen from run 1. You can see them under starters' orders. The lights go green and Van Roosel get good start, but so does Kerr. The 2 riders very quickly up onto their stride, and side by side the differential between Kerr and Van Roosel very little at the moment. Van Roosel slightly up on the midsection, but Kerr now starting to motor. Can he hold it together on the red line? Kerr on red, Van Roosel on blue. They're coming towards the finish. Van Roosel is going to take that because Kerr, well, just not strong on those final gates. Van Roosel will progress to the semi-finals today. Henry Kerr of Ireland will now be eliminated. Great racing between those two. There you go, the overcooking the gate, throwing that back wheel wide, just not enough time to correct from that mistake before the finish line, and Van Roosel, well, not letting anything get between him and that finish line. So the second run that we are awaiting is the second run between Cédric Gracia of France and Ian Gillet. These two have been running so close together in this competition. They're under starters' orders. Gracia with the better run, and first Gillet not holding it together. Can he hold it together on the red line on this second run, or will Gracia dominate on blue? No! Gillet again at a similar part of the course has a problem. Gracia continues to push. Ian Gillet of France just can't hold a run together here on the dual slalom. Cédric Gracia can. Gracia will go through to the semi-finals. Ian Gillet of France will not progress. 2 runs, 2 problems. Take a look at this. Again, clipping the earlier gate, just causing a problem. Spinning that bike out, down on the ground goes Gillet of France. Gracia holding the run together on that blue line will progress. Well, the next match we have in front of us is Dylan Levesque of France versus Julian Steiner of Germany. How close was run number 1? Steiner 0.11 of a hold. Levesque comes out on the blue line. Steiner on red, very, very quickly up to pace. Levesque absolutely motoring this on blue, but Steiner, well, he's not far behind. He's holding his nerve here. Levesque, has he gone too hot, too hard, too soon? Time will tell. Levesque continues to push on blue. Here comes Steiner on red. Levesque is going to take it. Steiner from Germany will go out. Levesque will go through to the semi-finals. Dylan Levesque has been putting in a phenomenal performance today. He really, really has. He had a cracking bronze medal in that Super G earlier on today. Back in 2024, when he rode the Snowbike World Championships, he lost out in the quarterfinals to Danny Hart. He's not losing out today. He is progressing to the semis. Well, the final heat in the quarterfinals is Vincent Toupin of France versus Jack Piercy of Great Britain. Piercy will be held by half a second. Toupin comes out and gets a really good start. I'm not sure Toupin needs a good start. He's absolutely motoring here today. He's on the blue run. Piercy's on the red. You can see Piercy really starting to push, and it's swinging that back wheel wide in the snow. Vincent Toupin on the blue having a solid run here. Oh, Piercy's not going to be able to do anything about the dominance of Toupin today. Vincent Toupin will progress to the semi-finals. Jack Piercy from Great Britain will be eliminated from the competition. But great runs, great entertainment, great racing. Well, the results of the men's elite dual slalom quarterfinals ahead of you: Van Roosel, Gracia, Levesque and Toupin, all progressing to the semi-finals. They will be the 4 riders battling for gold, silver and bronze, and well, that rainbow jersey. The women's semi-finals will be up first. That will be up next. Lisa Baumann will take on the Austrian rider first in that competition. She will take on Elke Rabda from Austria. Then we will see Vicky Clavel go up against Morgane Such, both of those riders from France. So we're guaranteed a French rider in the finals today, but will they be joined by a Swiss or a Austrian? That will be the question, and that will be decided here. Of course, the one rider will progress to the main finals to decide the silver and gold. One rider will progress to the small finals for the bronze and fourth. Out they come from the pen, and at the moment it is Baumann on the red run. She's the rider on red first. Raptor on blue. Baumann is up significantly a long way. She's been so dominant today in this women's elite competition. She's had a phenomenal racing all season last year. She took 5th at the Downhill World Championships in Valais, and she has just carried that form, it seems, through to 2026. The first woman to go under 2 minutes at the Super G World Championships ever, and she did that earlier on this morning. She is a rider on form, and if last year is anything to go by, well, her downhill season will go well too. So Baumann taking run number 1. Run number 2, well, that obviously still has to be completed, and anything could happen. Next up, Morgane Such. She is on the red run. She's not actually, she's on the blue run. And Vicky Clavel is the rider on red. So Clavel on the far run on red, slightly up at the moment on Such on the blue run this time round. They'll switch positions next time. Such now starts to show here on the blue run, but there's still very little in it. What can Clavel do on the red run? She's coming back at Morgane Such. This is going to be close, but I think Such at the moment just has this from Clavel. Morgane Such has got to hold it together, and she does. 0.11 of a second over Vicky Clavel, but that is seriously close. This competition between the two French women is going to go down to the wire. Oh, holding it together. Morgane Such, 1 foot on the pedal, 1 foot wide, right the way across the line. Fabulous riding and racing, and you can see the results there of the semi-finals. Run 1, Baumann and Such taking each of those 2 heats, but anything could happen on run number 2. We will indeed see that very shortly. The men's semi-finals, the start list is right in front of you. Cedric Gracia will go up against Kilian Van Roosel. Vincent Toupin will go up against Dylan Lequest, and it will be fast racing from those 2 semi-finals in this men's competition. Well, just taking a little look at how the men got there. Thrills and spills all the way to the wire. Some very close racing and some competitors not able to keep those wheels upright on the snow. As we said, anything can happen on the dual slalom. 1 rider through, 1 rider eliminated, 2 runs, combined fastest time. Now, whilst the men settle themselves on the start run, you can see that night has fallen over Châtel. We started in the daylight. We are going to finish by floodlight. The floodlights are on. The crowd are out and about on the slopes here in Châtel to watch the finale of the dual slalom. It's the men's semi-finals up next. We've just seen run 1 in the women's semi-finals, run 1 in the men's semi-finals coming up next. We're kicking off with Cedric Gracia versus Kilian Van Roosel. Gracia, his best position in a dual slalom has been 9th place. He's going a lot better than that today. He's on the red run, Van Roosel on the blue. Both of these riders been absolutely nailing it in the earlier competition. They're side by side, neck and neck. We've got a Van Roosel on the blue, just slightly up at the moment on Gracia. But Gracia now coming back. This is going to be seriously close. They've got to hold it together. Gracia's now coming through. Gracia's going to take it from Van Roosel on the line. What a foundation from Cedric Gracia there to take Van Roosel by 0.23 of a second on the first run of the semi-finals. That was some finish. Oh, he got a few pedal strokes in there around those few last gates. They're just picking up a little bit of momentum on the snow to come through and past Van Roosel. fabulous run from Cedric Gracia. He wants to go better today. That 4th place in the Super G this morning, well, he wants a medal this afternoon. Final heat now on this semi-finals. It's the final heat of run number 1. Vincent Tupan on red, Dylan Levesque on blue. They were 2nd and 3rd this morning. One has a silver, one has a bronze. What's going to happen in the dual slalom? They're side by side at the moment, very little to split them. I think Levesque is just slightly up on Tupan at the moment, but Tupan is quick. Tupan's going to come back, but Levesque at the moment has got to hold this together. He's going wide on the gates, letting Tupan come back through on that red run. Tupan goes over the line, but 0.06 of a second. That was a small mistake from Dylan Levesque that caused that on those lower slopes through those final flags. So close on that final throw for the line at the end of the men's first run in the semi-finals. Cedric Gracia and Vincent Tupan holding the upper hand fractionally as we move into run number 2. But before run number 2 on the men's competition, we're going to watch run number 2 in the women's competition. This is the semi-finals, and Rabda from Austria versus Baumann. Baumann has the advantage. Then Clavel versus Such in the second heat. Such has the advantage over Clavel. Well, Baumann, defending champion, never beaten in the dual slalom, going up against Rabda from Austria, who took 10th place in the dual slalom last year. I tell you, she's having an absolutely fabulous snow bike competition today. She really is. 5th in the Super G this morning. She really is nailing her racing on snow. Baumann, though, on the blue run at the moment, really motoring here. The Swiss rider putting the effort in where it is needed. Rabda from Austria on the red run, not able to compete with the power that is Lisa Baumann. Lisa Baumann coming towards the bottom of the run now. She's not going to be challenged by the Austrian. Baumann is going to go through to the big final to contend gold and silver. Rabda, well, she's going to go through to the small final to contend bronze and 4th place. She's going to battle for that final medal in the small final. Lisa Baumann, well, it's going to be gold or silver for her. Can she do the triple? 3rd time's a charm. Will it be a charm for Lisa Baumann? Well, one of these two women here on this next run could well get in the way. Vicky Clavel versus Morgane Such, the two French women. Clavel on the blue run, Such on the red run. The advantage to Such, but it is tiny. The lights go green, away go the two women here. Such on the far side on the red run, Clavel on the blue run. Such's foot, she's already been out of that pedal. They're so close. Clavel is just up at the moment as the riders come through. As Such overcooked this here, can Clavel overturn it? The two riders have got to hold their nerve as they run down here. Morgane Such is in trouble. Will Clavel overturn? I think she does. Yes, she does. Vicky Clavel overturns run number 1. Morgane Such got into trouble on that course and just couldn't hold a clean run to go through to the big final. Take a look at the replays. It was all going so well for Morgane Such, but Vicky Clavel came through at the end of that run on the lower slopes of the dual slalom to overturn it. Qualifying for the big final, Lisa Baumann from heat number 1, Vicky Clavel from heat number 2. They will go head-to-head for the gold and silver medal. And of course, that rainbow jersey in that big final. But they are going to have 2 runs. Rabda and Such will compete for 3rd and 4th. Well, let's take a look and see who is going to make the big final in the men's competition. Who is going to make the small final for 3rd and 4th? It was thrills and spills to get to the semi-finals, and thrills and spills in the first run as well. Wheel sliding, snow flying, big offs but the snow is soft. Cedric Gracia will go against Kilian van Roosel in heat number 1. It's the second run. Gracia has the advantage. In the following heat, we'll see Vincent Toupin go up against Dylan Levesque. Toupin has the advantage, but 0.06 of a second. The men's semi-finals really, really close. So when the riders are coming over that line at the finish, you're seeing them doing around 50-55 kilometres per hour on those bikes at the end of that Dual Slalom run. The Belgian rider is the rider we are in with at the start at the moment. This is the second run of the semi-finals. He's going up against Cedric Gracia. He's got 0.23 of a penalty on his start, but it's a good start from Van Roosel. Van Roosel absolutely up and out on that far red run, up out and running quickly. Cedric Gracia on the blue run at the moment. They're neck and neck, and now Gracia starts to move on this mid-section. This is where he is so strong on the mid to latter section. Van Roosel are not being able to close down the gap. Gracia is that mid-section where he is really strong today. He's going to go through to that big final for the battle for gold and silver. Cedric Gracia is going to be one pleased racer. Kilian van Roosel will go through to the small final for the battle for third and fourth. Well, the final heat of the men's semi-finals, Vincent Toupin has an advantage of 0.06 over Dylan Levesque of France. They're lined up and under starters' orders. Blink of an eye, the gap between these two riders, and away they go. Toupin is on the blue run, Levesque is on the red, Levesque is on the far side. Toupin is up at the moment and motoring strongly. Levesque, well, he's sliding out already. There's more snow from his rear wheel than there is from Toupin's, but Toupin's got to hold this together. Can he hold it together to the line? Levesque is swinging and sliding, but he's coming in fast. Toupin holds it to the line, 0.25 of a second against Dylan Levesque. Toupin will go against Cedric Gracia in the big final for gold and silver. Dylan Levesque will battle Kilian van Roosel for third and fourth today in the men's dual slalom at the Snow Bikes World Championships for 2026. Well, there are the results of the semi-finals on your screen. Confirmed Gracia versus Toupin in that big final for the rainbow jersey. That is going to be one close battle. Toupin took second this morning in the Super G. He already has a silver medal. Gracia took fourth place this morning and is in the hunt for a medal of any colour. Well, he is going to come away with a medal today, but which colour will it be? First up, however, we are going to go into the women's small final. Well, the women's finals up first before the men's. We're going to go with the small finals before we go with the first run of the big final, and we go back to the second run of the small final before we see the second run of the big final. We've got to give those riders enough time to get from the bottom of that slope back up to the start gate. And just remind ourselves of how challenging it is indeed to keep those bikes upright. Well, the highlights of the earlier rounds just showing you how close this competition is and how close it's going to be in these finals today. The small finals for third and fourth. There's a bronze medal at stake in the small finals. The big finals, the battle for that gold medal and the World Championship title for 2026. The crowds, well, they've picked their favourites. The mascots are out, the flags are flying, the lights are lit, the flood-lit arena here for the Dual Slalom World Championships. It's the 2026 UCI Snowbike World Championships coming to you from Châtel in France. And we have some fantastic finals lining up for you here tonight. So the first up, the small final between Morgane Such of France and Elke Rabda of Austria will be the first race away here. You can see there's not a lot of bikes up at the start area at the moment, unlike at the beginning of the competition, the dual slalom earlier on today. In the men's competition, we started with 32 racers qualified from the Super G this morning. We are down to 2 riders in the small finals, 2 riders in the big finals for those medals. In the women's competition, 8 riders qualified from the Super G this morning. Morgane Such, Elke Rabda, Lisa Baumann and Vicky Clavel are going to battle out very, very shortly to decide the medals. Lisa Baumann has had a fantastic run at the previous Snowbike World Championships. In 2024, she took 3rd in the Super G and 1st in the dual slalom. Last year, she took 1st in the Super G and 1st in the dual slalom. She double gold medaled last year. This year, she's already taken gold in the Super G. She's going to be lining up against Vicky Clavel for that gold medal in the rainbow jersey again in the dual slalom. But before then, Morgane Such versus Elke Rabda. This is the first run in the women's small final. They are up and they are out. Such is on the red run on the far side. Rabda on the blue on the switching alternatives, and at the moment it's Morgane Such on the red run who is up at the moment. Rabda down on the blue. What can she do as they come towards the finish? Such has got to hold this together because she's putting in a great run here. She's putting in a run that could well push her towards that bronze medal. Morgane Such from France comes through to take the win against Elke Rabda from Austria. She's going to have half a second advantage going into run number 2. Morgane Such, she took 3rd in the dual slalom last year. She took 2nd in the dual slalom in 2024. She's battling for another medal this year, and at the moment she's put herself into a very strong position. Well, the main final at the moment is going to be Lisa Baumann running off on run number 1 against Vicky Clavel. This is the battle for the gold and silver. And these 2 riders took gold and silver in the Super G this morning as well. Clavel took 5th in the dual slalom last year. She's made it to the top 2 this year, so she's putting on a strong performance and she's riding really strongly. Her time on the Super G this morning was quicker than Baumann's winning time in 2025. Just a shame that Baumann, well, for Clavel, Baumann's time was even faster than that. It's going to be interesting to see these 2 riders go head-to-head over what is 500 metres rather than 1.9 kilometres. So Baumann versus Clavel. This is run number 1. Baumann on the red run, Clavel on blue. This is a battle for gold and silver. Riders are held by the start. The lights go green and Baumann gets a good start out on the red run as she comes quickly through the early flag. So Baumann is up on Châtel at the moment. What can Châtel do? She can do a lot because she's coming back on Baumann here on the early slopes. They're coming through into the midsection now. Baumann and Châtel. Châtel has got to hold this together. Baumann now starts to go away again on Châtel. Baumann is going to take this. She comes through for the win against Vicky Châtel, but Châtel must have had her worried at one point there. She came back in the midsection. Vicky Châtel, she'll have half a second penalty against Lisa Baumann next time. Can she hold her nerve and challenge the defending champion, or is Baumann gonna make it a hat trick? Well, the women's competition hotting up here in Châtel in the Haute Savoie. The men's competition, well, we're going to go into the men's final first. We're going to go into the competition for the bronze medal. So Dylan Levesque is running off on run number 1 against Kilian Van Roosel. Van Roosel on the blue run, the Belgian rider you can see closest to you on the screen at the moment. Levesque, the French rider, on the far run on red. The lights go green and Levesque gets a good start, but so does Van Roosel. And Van Roosel, the Belgian rider, has been able to hold his nerve through these runs. They're close. Levesque on red is up at the moment and he's pushing on strongly. What can Van Roosel do? Roosel's foot is out. He's not made the gate. Big problem from the Belgian rider, but Levesque now has got to make this through across the line on red. He does. He's going to take the win here on run number 1. Van Roosel. Well, problems from the rider from Belgium. So Van Roosel will have a half-second penalty going into run number 2. Levesque is in the hot seat there, having taken a bronze medal earlier on today in the Super G. Will he be able to walk away with 2 bronze medals from the Snowbike World Championships here in Châtel? Well, we're going to have to see. But now, lining up in the start, Vincent Tupin of France in the red run. Cedric Gracia in the blue run. Well, Tupin gets a strong start, but Gracia putting down the power through those pedals to really try and get the momentum rolling on the blue run here. It's Tupin on red at the moment, but he's got into all sorts of trouble. Gracia is going to make the most of this. He's got to hold it together through the line. Vincent Tupin is many. What a run here from Gracia. Gracia is going to go through over the line with a clean run. Vincent Tupin got into all sorts of problems on that red slope. And it's looking like Gracia's got cramp as well at the finish there in his thigh. But look at them. Yeah, Tupin just messed up that and had problems. So just Gracia going through there. He's going to go through to the run for gold with a half-second advantage over Vincent Tupin on the second run. It is going to be fast and furious for that gold medal. Well, the women are back up at the start, and Morgane Such this time on the blue run, the French rider, against Elke Rabda from Austria, the rider we are looking at the moment in red. She's also on the red run for this second run. She's half a second penalty against Such. Such took 3rd place in the Super G this morning. Rabda took 5th. Such took 3rd place in the bronze medal in the Dual Slalom last year. This is for 3rd place and the bronze medal in the Dual Slalom for 2026. It could well be a close run thing, but Morgane Such has been looking so strong. Well, they're under starters orders for the final run in the women's small final. Such comes out with a strong start on the blue run. Rabda on the red line, not as quick out of the start, and she's got some, she's got to make up some pace here if she wants to close down Morgane Such, because Such has now just got to hold this together, and hold this together she is at the moment. Morgane Such on the blue run. Looks like she's going to head towards the line here to take the win for the bronze medal. She does. Morgane Such, 2 bronze medals today at the 2026 UCI Snowbike World Championships, a 3rd place and a bronze medal in the dual slalom to top off the 3rd place in the Super G this morning. Alka Rabda will walk away with 4th place today in the dual slalom, one better than the 5th place in the Super G earlier on today. Back up in the start, moving towards those start pen positions. Lisa Baumann, the rider from Switzerland. She has a half-second advantage over Vicky Clavel, the French rider, who will be in that red run lane for the final race of this women's dual slalom. This is the battle for gold and silver. Baumann won the dual slalom in 2024. She won the dual slalom in 2025. She's looking to take the win in the dual slalom today. She's up against Vicky Clavel, who took 2nd place this morning in that Super G competition. She's got a silver medal. She doesn't want another one. She wants gold, but so does Lisa Baumann. She wants to take this dual slalom title for the 3rd year running here in Châtel. Baumann, what a year she had last year. She took 2 rainbow jerseys in the snow bikes in February. She then went on to get a 5th at the Downhill World Championships in Valais. On the World Cup downhill scene, she took 4th in Mont Saint Anne. She took 2nd place at the European Downhill Championship. She's had a phenomenal season in 2025, and she's looking to start a phenomenal season in 2026. Can she take away the double today? Well, the riders have come to call up, and they are both now in the start pen. Lisa Baumann from Switzerland will take the blue run. Vicky Clavel of France will take the red. The winner of this head-to-head, this dual 2-up race, will take the gold medal in the dual slalom for 2026 and the coveted rainbow jersey. Baumann has a half-second advantage over Clavel. Clavel will get that penalty at the start. They're under starters' orders. Clavel on red, Baumann on blue. Baumann comes out cleanly from the start, a good swift turn of pace. Clavel, strong start from her as well on the red run. But it's Baumann on blue at the moment. Clavel is closing her down. She's having a great run here in Châtel for the final run of the women's final of the dual slalom for 2026. Baumann is up, but only just. Baumann now strong on the lower part of the slope. Clavel coming at speed, but it's Baumann who takes Vicky Clavel in the final, and Clavel ran her close, but not close enough. Third time's a charm for Lisa Baumann. She takes away the World Championships for 2026 in the dual slalom, and that's how she did it. She takes a look over onto the red line to see where Clavel is. She's not in sight. 0.54 of a second. Lisa Baumann will take away the gold medal and the World Championship title for 2026. Vicky Clavel will take the silver medal in the dual slalom to go alongside the silver medal in the Super G this morning. Well, fabulous racing on that women's final here in Châtel. And Vicky Clavel, she had a great midsection to the race, but just not enough to catch the power and pace of Lisa Baumann. She did the double last year in 2025. She's done the double again. Lisa Baumann wins her second gold medal and second World Championship title of the 2026 UCI Snowbike World Championships here in Châtel. That gold medal is confirmed. Absolutely brilliant racing from the women out there today on the snow in Châtel. We have two
one day, crazy.
more races that we're going to hear from Lisa Baumann.
It was not easy at the start. I was like not sure if I could win or not. I felt not confident at all. But in finale, I feel I had a bit more speed than the semi or quarter final.
But a tough battle in final.
Yeah, it was tough. Vicky was really strong as well, so I'm happy.
See you after the podium.
Well, Lisa Baumann happy, but a tough race with Vicky Clavel. Clavel run her to the line and made her push and work for that gold medal, and we'll see her down on the podium in a short while. Well, we're heading back up to the start because the men's second runs, they are the last two races of the day. Dylan Levesque from France was the dominant rider in the first run here. Kilian van Roosel has a 0.5 penalty at the start. The rider from Belgium on the red run. This is a battle for the bronze medal. They're under starters' orders. Levesque comes out, a clean start from him on the blue run, quickly up to speed and onto momentum. He's absolutely motoring Van Roosel on the red, trying to catch, but he's not going to make it. Levesque now absolutely moving away from Van Roosel, the rider on blue, needing to hold this to the line. He does. Van Roosel will come through for fourth place today, but the bronze medal in the dual slalom for 2026 will go to Dylan Levesque of France. He took the bronze medal this morning in the Super G competition. He really shocked everybody this morning, coming through from 23rd on the grid on the start to third place overall on the Super G, and he's done the double with another third place today on the dual slalom. What a race between those two riders. Van Roosel will have to settle for fourth place. Now, for gold and silver, Vincent Tupin took second place on the Super G last year, took third place in the dual slalom last year. Cedric Gracia has the go. He's on the red run. He's got a fabulous start here. He's got to hold it together. He's absolutely nailed his runs here in the snow in Châtel, but Vincent Tupin now absolutely dialing this. He's laying everything down on the line to take the gold medal. What can he do? Tupin is up on the blue, but Gracia's coming back on the red. Tupin takes it from Gracia. Gracia couldn't catch Tupin. Tupin was the flying Frenchman. He kicks the bike away. He's going to take the gold medal today and the rainbow jersey. Cedric Gracia congratulates Vincent Tupin. Gracia will have to settle for the silver medal. The only World Championship win Cedric Gracia has is in the downhill junior championships in 1995. I tell you something, in 2026 he ran them close for those rainbow bands, but Vincent Tupin, the Frenchman, upset the party for Cedric Gracia. He overturned the deficit. He came through to take the win for the gold medal. Vincent Tupin, the world champion for 2026 in the dual slalom at the UCI Snowbike World Championships in Châtel, France. There we go, it's confirmed. Tupin takes the win. What fantastic racing in both the women's and the men's dual slalom today at the Snowbike World Championships. We've had thrills, we've had spills, we've had deficits overturned, we've had real battles for the medals and deserved winners on the top spot of the podium. It's going to be a very happy Vincent Toupin that we hear from shortly. Well, the racing has not disappointed at all here in Châtel. The Super G this morning, the dual slalom here.
On donne un signal et puis... Vincent, you're world champion!
Yeah, I'm so happy. It's crazy.
What's the feeling after this? It was a tough, very tough battle tonight.
Yeah, I was very impressed of Cédric Gracia because everybody know him. But super happy, good times.
How was it to fight a legend over the crowd? How was it in the start, in the gate?
Yeah, it's always it's something I don't know. Like yeah, je vais réfléchir et.
And now, rainbow jersey.
Yeah, very happy.
See you after the podium. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, we will very shortly be moving to those ceremonies for both the men's and the women's, but let's just take a little look back at some of the highlights and how Vincent Toupin and Lisa Baumann made it to the top step. Oh, thrills and spills in the snow in Châtel. Keeping two wheels on the snow was the name of the game. And it really was beneficial to progress through those rounds into those finals and towards those medals and that rainbow jersey. We're going to head down to the medal ceremony for the women's elite dual slalom. Final stages and the final touches being put into those ceremonies, the riders being called up. We're going to go in with the women's first and then we are going to go through to the men's. 3 years of the World Championships here in Châtel in France, 2026 being the third year they have hosted the Snowbike World Championships. It's a fabulous venue, it creates great racing and close racing on the slopes here. Pushing the riders, their bikes, their machines to the limits, chasing those rainbow bands. Disappointment for some, joy for others. That's what the World Championships is always about. So the Winter Cycling Showdown is over for 2026. Just the podiums now for for us here at the UCI Snowbike World Championships. We've seen traditional ski racing formats, but not on skis, on two wheels. The mountain bikes have been against the clock here at Châtel. The steep north-facing slopes, the fast snow have given us the action. The podium is now ready. The dual slalom this afternoon, the head-to-head elimination. The women are up first.
Tour de France, j'espère pour la Belgique pour toi. Je suis sur le Tour de France, oui. Sur le caravane, c'est que pour cette année. Allez, ça discute bien, donc les Belges, ça refait le match comme on dit chez nous.
Well, the floodlights that have lit up the slopes, we can see them in the background, and the blue and the red runs that have decided the podiums in the back of the shot.
Protocolaire des championnats du monde de snowbike UCI 2026 à Châtel. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the award ceremony of the 2026 UCI Snowbike World Championships in Châtel. Cérémonie protocolaire des championnats du monde de snowbike UCI 2026 Dual Slalom Femmes Elite. Award ceremony of the 2026 UCI Snowbike World Championships Women Elite in Dual Slalom. Les médailles et le maillot seront remis par David Lapartien, président de l'UCI. The medals and jersey will be presented by David Lapartien, UCI President. À la troisième place, et vainqueur de la médaille de bronze, représentant la France. In third place, winner of the bronze medal representing France, Morgan Sich. À la deuxième place, vainqueur de la médaille d'argent représentant la France. Second place, winner of the silver medal representing France, Vicky Clavel. À la première place, championne du monde UCI, gagnante de la médaille d'or, représentant de la Suisse. In first place, UCI World Champion, winner of the gold medal, representing Switzerland, Lisa Baumann. Les cadeaux seront remis par Nicolas Rubin, maire de Châtel. The gifts will be presented by Nicolas Rubin, mayor of Châtel. La montre Tissot sera présentée par David Lapartien, président de l'UCI. The Tissot watch will be presented by David Lapartien, UCI president. Mesdames et messieurs, en l'honneur de notre nouvelle championne du monde UCI, nous vous présentons l'hymne national de la Suisse. Ladies and gentlemen, in honor of our new UCI World Champion, we present the national anthem of Switzerland. messieurs, veuillez applaudir une dernière fois nos médaillés. Ladies and gentlemen, please one more time your applause for the medalists. Morgan Such, Vicky Clavel et Lisa Bowman.
Well, the photo opportunities start for the podium in the women's race. Morgan Such taking third place in the bronze, Vicky Clavel taking second in the silver medal, Lisa Baumann, the world champion for 2026, taking away that gold medal and the rainbow bands. And the first duty of the world champion, well, other than talking to the press, signing, autographing that jersey.
Il ne doit rester aucune crêpe.
Or as we see at the moment, having a photo with David Lepartien.
Pour les fûts, vous faites bien comme vous voulez.
Well, Lisa Baumann, absolutely dominant on the snow. She really, really is. Taking that first world title in the dual slalom in 2024, repeating it in 2025. Her third world championship title in the dual slalom at the Snow Bikes World Championships coming this year, today, in 2026. Can anybody touch her on the snow? It's absolutely brilliant. Well, she signed the jersey this morning because she also took the gold medal and the title, the World Championship title in the Super G. 2 times Baumann. Nice signature. Well, 2 times today, 2 times last year. She's defended both titles from 2025.
Hi, fantastic. So, second medal, second rainbow jersey today. How do you feel? You're cold, but in your heart, it's amazing.
Yeah, I'm cold. No, it was a good event. It was a good night. I like this format of dual slalom. There was a lot of people watching. So yeah, it's cool.
You were talking with Mr. Lepartien, the president. Are you talking of the future of snowbike, maybe?
Yeah, and also for the age in the summer. So yeah.
Allez, un petit mot en français, Lisa. Qu'est-ce que tu vas retenir de cette journée incroyable, en plus de ces 2 maillots, de ces 2 belles médailles? Qu'est-ce que tu vas retenir en émotion et en sensation?
C'était vraiment cool, j'ai vraiment pris du plaisir sur le vélo et ce soir il y avait vraiment beaucoup de spectateurs, donc c'est vraiment cool et j'aime bien ce format de dual slalom, ça pousse quoi et non, c'est génial.
Eh ben, bravo pour le sourire et pour la performance.
Well, our world champion for 2026 in the Super G this morning and the dual slalom this evening in Châtel in the women's race, Lisa Baumann from Switzerland. Well, the podium now being reset for the medal ceremony for the men's elite dual slalom. Leo Grisel took the win last year in 2025, not able to repeat that performance going out in one of the earlier rounds. It was left to Vincent Tupin and Cedric Gracia to contend the gold and silver. Well, Vincent Tupin came out on top, and we're going to see him on the top step now.
Cérémonie protocolaire des championnats du monde de snowbike UCI 2026 Dual Slalom Homme Elite. Award ceremony of the 2026 UCI Snowbike World Championships Men Elite Dual Slalom. Les médailles et le maillot seront remis par David Lapartien, président UCI. The medals and jersey will be presented by David Lapartien, UCI President. À la troisième place, et vainqueur de la médaille de bronze représentant la France, in third place, winner of the bronze medal representing France, Dylan Levesque. À la deuxième place, et vainqueur de la médaille d'argent représentant la France, in second place, and winner of the silver medal representing France, Cédric Gracia. À la première place, champion du monde UCI et gagnant de la médaille d'or représentant la France. In first place, UCI World Champion and winner of the gold medal representing France, Vincent Tupin.
Et à ce moment-là, il y avait deux drones qui
Les cadeaux seront remis par Nicolas Rubin, maire de Châtel. The gifts will be presented by Nicolas Rubin, mayor of Châtel. La montre Tissot sera présentée par David Lapartien, président UCI. The Tissot watch will be presented by David Lapartien, UCI president. Mesdames et messieurs, en l'honneur de notre nouveau champion du monde UCI, nous vous présentons l'hymne national de la France. Ladies and gentlemen, in honor of our new UCI World Champion, we present the national anthem of France. Mesdames et messieurs, veuillez applaudir une dernière fois nos médaillés. Ladies and gentlemen, please one more time an applause for our medalists. Dylan Levesque, Cédric Gracia et Vincent Tupin.
So Dylan Levesque of
Allez,
France
un
taking
immense bravo
away
aux athlètes, un
bronze
immense bravo
medal.
au
Cedric
public. On vous garde
Gracia the
encore
silver.
quelques secondes.
Vincent
On a encore une
Tupin,
belle fête. On va
the
appeler
rainbow
Monsieur
jersey
David
and
Lamartien,
the
président
gold
UCI.
medal today.
Et
He
Monsieur le
went
maire,
one
Monsieur
better
Nicolas
in
Rubin,
the
Monsieur
dual
le maire de
slalom than
Châtel.
he did in the Super G this morning, where
Pour un cadeau, la remise d'un cadeau, le maillot Santini,
Pierre
champion du monde.
Thevenard.
Merci Châtel évidemment d'accompagner l'UCI pour cette 3e année consécutive. Vous pouvez applaudir s'il vous plaît.
He adds
Nos deux représentants
another
de ces deux
name
institutions
to the
que sont
jersey.
l'UCI
Just
et la ville
picking
organisatrice
where he
ici.
signs.
Merci beaucoup pour ces 3 belles années de championnat du monde de snowbike à Châtel. Thank you very much to the UCI and to Châtel for that marvelous organization here in Châtel.
One very happy world champion picking up that gold medal in the rainbow bands, the world champion in men's dual slalom for 2026. Vincent Tupin. We're going to hear from him now.
Le club est à votre disposition, mais restez avec nous.
Il y a une surprise.
You got it, the rainbow jersey. How do you feel?
I feel super good. I'm really happy. Thank you.
It was really a tough battle tonight. How was it on the gate just before the start? Did you feel pressure, or it was just fast?
No, I feel pressure for sure. With Cedric, against Cedric, it's yeah. I was used to watch his videos, his competition, so yeah, it was really cool to ride against him.
Je rebondis en français du coup. Écoute, bravo, félicitations pour ce titre. Ça fait quoi d'avoir ce beau maillot, le feu d'artifice derrière? Ça doit être incroyable.
Merci, ouais, c'est super cool. Super content que ça se déroule en plus à Châtel. Il y a tous mes amis, tout ça, donc c'est génial, ouais.
Et tu disais, tu as affronté un peu une légende en finale, Cédric Gracia. En plus, c'est du one-to-one. Vous pouvez vous regarder. Il y a eu un petit jeu de regard avant le départ. C'est comment?
Ouais, non, c'est vrai que si on m'avait dit un jour que je devais faire une compétition contre Cédric, j'aurais pas cru. Mais ouais, c'était génial, c'est impressionnant et puis c'était aussi du bon temps.
Bon, je crois qu'on peut te laisser aller célébrer avec la famille et les amis.
Ça va.
Well, going head to head with the legend of four-cross downhill enduro and now snowbike that is Cedric Gracia has got to be an extra bonus to the gold medal and taking away that rainbow jersey for Vincent Tupin of France. One very happy dual slalom world champion. Well, Châtel really has not disappointed. It has been an absolutely fabulous day of racing at the 2026 UCI Snowbike World Championships. The fireworks are going off, the crowd's enjoying the moment, as well as the medalists here in the Haute Savoie in France. The celebrations will continue into the night. Lisa Baumann retaining her title in the Super G earlier on this morning and taking that rainbow jersey. In the dual slalom, the rainbow jersey yet again. Lisa Baumann did the double for the second year running. The run from Pierre Thevenard of France, the speed demon himself, holding on to that bike until he was over the line to take the gold in the Super G, really was something to watch. And then Vincent Tupin taking the title in the men's dual slalom. 4 World Championship titles decided today on the slopes of Châtel in Haute Savoie in France. Well, as the party continues at Châtel and the Snowbike World Championships, we hope you are going to enjoy your winter sports over the rest of the next few weeks. Enjoy your cycling as well. We'll see you again soon. Goodbye.